Why can some companies sell the exact same product as their competitors for 10 times the price? You've probably experienced this before. Someone in your industry selling the exact same service or product that you do at 10 times the price and thinking, how do they even get away with this? The founders of these companies have mastered one thing, and it's how to position their brands and products in a way that people are willing to pay 10 times the price. But how? How do they do it? How do they manage to sell the same product as their competitors at outrageously high prices? I spent the last 2 years working with 7 and 8 figure founders, building premium brands in their industries and position them in a way that allows them to move up market. In this video, I'll be breaking down the psychology of premium pricing. I'll be sharing the 3 main principles that you can use to charge higher prices, move up market, and position yourself in your brand as a category of one. Let's dive into it. When most people look at the top players in their industry, they instantly assume they might be better than me. They might have a better product. They might generate 10 times the results that I do. But this is often not the case. Take McKinsey & Company, for example, one of the largest consulting firms in the world. They recently received an award from OpenAI for spending more than 1 billion AI credits in building reports for their clients. Reports that they sold to some of the biggest companies in the world. Reports that they charge 6 and oftentimes 7 figures for are all being built with ChatGPT. So why are some of the biggest companies in the world working with them in the first place? Is an AI-generated report worth millions of dollars? Probably not. And yet companies like McKinsey, Goldman Sachs, and others never struggle with demand. These companies understand that the quality of work that you provide isn't the only important thing when it comes to charging premium prices. There's one way more important element than most people forget, and that is positioning. As humans, we're wired to make decisions in a split second. The moment someone lands on your website, sees your content, or hears your name, their brain is already building a judgment of the quality of work that you provide and the value that you represent. But this judgment happens way before they even get the chance to experience the quality of your work. This is your positioning, the associations people build with you and your brand way before they even work with you. But positioning has nothing to do with looking nice. It's about signaling a level of care, of professionality, of intention that goes way beyond the product or service itself. Premium brands that charge premium prices understand that perception becomes reality. The way something looks, feels, and presents itself sets an expectation long before results even enter the conversation. Even the smallest details communicate whether you operate at a high level or you don't. Let me give you an example. I know this German founder who runs one of the biggest website development studios in Germany. And on paper, he sells the exact same thing as many other website development studios. Websites. The difference is that the smallest project he takes on starts at the tens of thousands of dollars. I don't want to share exact numbers for privacy reasons, but he charges way more than any other website development studio in Germany or even in Europe. Even sometimes going as far to charge 6 figures for a single website. But what's even crazier than this is the fact that he has a waiting list of people waiting to pay him 6 figures for a website. And he doesn't do any outreach, he doesn't do ads, because every single client that comes to him comes recommended. Now, let me reveal the secret. His websites aren't magically different. They do not convert 20 or 30 times better than their competitors. But still, corporate clients decide to come to him because of the way that he's positioning his brand. And how do you think he built this positioning? He didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I am the biggest and the best website development agency in Germany. He built this position over time through the way that his brand looks, the way it feels, and the way it communicates. Everything about his company, even to the smallest details, communicates premium. His assets are very clear and very intentional. He uses minimalistic assets and premium branding to convey that he's a premium option in the market. His messaging instantly filters for the top 1% of people in their industries. And you won't find a single company in his client roster that isn't a multi-million-dollar company. The type of founders that he works with have nowhere else to go because he's built a position so strong he's become a category of one. He has no competition, he has a brand monopoly. And being real, this is the main reason that he's able to charge 20 times more than the competition. It's not the quality of his websites. Your brand must communicate the level that you operate at, but having a strong premium positioning isn't the only thing that's going to allow you to charge higher prices. To do so, you first need to attract the right people. In every single industry, a small percentage of the players control a majority of the resources. Roughly speaking, it is the top 1% of companies that generate a disproportionate amount of their revenue. They have all the influence in their industry and they control the buying power. Premium companies that charge premium prices understand that it's all about attracting the right people, the people that can afford premium prices. And this is the exact reason why premium brands never try to appeal to everyone. They design their messaging, their presence, and their distribution so they only appeal to a small segment of the market. The decision makers are the top of their industries. And the way they do this is through distribution, messaging, and selectivity. One of the best modern examples of this is Stripe, the payment processing company. When Stripe launched the market, they were known as the easiest way for developers to process payments. In the early days of the company, they grew mainly by working with startups and small businesses. But Stripe knew they were capped. Small businesses and startups process small transactions, making Stripe almost no money. And so by the late 2010s, Stripe realized that if they wanted to become a financial institution, if they wanted to become a billion-dollar company, they would need to work with the biggest companies in the world. But the companies moving billions in revenue weren't interested in easy setups or developer tools. They care about things like scale, reliability, reliability and compliance. And so if Stripe wanted to work with these companies, they had to adapt their messaging and positioning to attract billion-dollar whales. And so what they did was reposition themselves from helping developers accept payments online to becoming the financial infrastructure for the internet. They stopped talking about integrations and APIs, and instead they started talking about things that the billion-dollar companies cared about. Things like regulatory compliance or complex payment flows. On top of this, they completely redesigned the brand image to appeal to these customers. They started showcasing bigger companies that they work with, like Google, like Amazon, like Shopify. And despite the product being largely the same, the people they attracted changed completely, and so did their bottom line. Stripe went from just another payment tool to becoming the default financial infrastructure for some of the biggest companies in the world, and they became a $100 billion company in the process. You will appeal to a fraction of the market, but you will still make more money than appealing to 99% of the market, because these people can afford premium prices. And so with the right messaging and positioning, you can become an option for the top 1%. But there's still one principle that's missing, because none of this works if these people don't come across you in the first place. This third principle is the most important principle when it comes to charging premium prices, and that is attraction. Premium companies that work with the top 1% of clients understand something that most people don't. It is that people love to buy, but they hate to be sold to. When was the last time that you saw an ad from Ferrari pushing you to buy? These companies don't chase clients. They don't send tens of thousands of emails. They attract them. They make the right people come to them. To understand this principle, you need to understand how the companies at the top think. These companies don't need to sell. They have options. They're very selective with the kind of customer that they want to work with, and they display this through media and content. Attraction is about building a presence that draws in the top 1% of people. And if done right, it is the last and arguably the most important step in being able to command higher prices. Acquisition.com and Alex Ramosi are one of the best modern displays of this principle. After selling their last company for more than $40 million, Alex and Leila Ramosi started a new venture in the private equity space. But instead of following the rules of the industry and sending tens of thousands of emails or going to networking events to scout for opportunities, they completely changed their approach. They decided they would make these opportunities come to them. And the strategy was very simple: content and brand. By leveraging their personal brands, Alex and Leila built an audience of millions of followers across platforms. And instead of doing what every other person in this space is doing, they positioned themselves as the best option in the market by sharing very tactical insights and business content that appeal to their ideal audience. Now, every single month, thousands of companies apply to work with Acquisition.com, but they're still very selective. Leila and Alex only choose to invest in the top 0.01% companies, the ones that have the biggest potential and the ones that are willing to give away more than 50% of their companies to get their advice and their insights in return. And as a result of this approach, Acquisition.com grew into a $200 million company in the span of a few years. This is what attraction looks like at a premium level. You build a presence that naturally draws the best opportunities and the best clients towards you. And when done correctly, this is the lever that allows companies to charge extraordinary prices and work only with the founders and companies they want to work with. So now, how do you take the same principles and apply to your brand and business to be able to command higher prices and move up market? First, start by analyzing your current brand positioning. If you were a client and you had to hire yourself only based on the impression that your brand causes, would you? The best way to answer this question is to analyze all your current assets across the board. Your content, your website, your sales assets. Do they convey credibility and authority? Do they look premium? Do they have a minimalistic design? Is the messaging clear? All these micro elements either work together to push or to pull from a buying decision. The second step is reviewing your messaging. To charge higher prices, you first need to attract people that can afford them. Does the way you communicate appeal to the 1% of your audience? Does the language, expressions, and examples you use align with the way these founders think and operate? Make sure that your messaging appeals only to the people that can afford the prices that you wish to charge. And the third and final step is being very honest with yourself and asking, am I attracting or am I chasing clients? It is my belief that if top clients aren't chasing you, neither should you. You need to create a brand and presence that draws them in. And you do this by publishing content that aligns with the messaging, positioning, and all the other items that we've reviewed across this video. Being very selective with where your brand appears, the way that you communicate, the way that every single visual and thing shows up. This is the art of commanding premium prices. And so if you like my help to position yourself in your brand in a way that you're able to charge higher prices, move up market, and position yourself as someone premium in your space, you can go to the first link in the description of this video, and there you can book a call with either me or my co-founder, and we can see how we can help you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you find it useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.